This is episode number 164 of the Homeowner Show. Whether you're DIY or looking to hire, we're here to help you find the best information and options for you and your home. My name is Kevin Hackett, and here with me is Craig Williams.
Hello, and welcome to the Homeowner Show. We're glad that you could join us for another live episode of the Homeowner Show here in the Homeowner Show studios. How's it going, Kev?
Man, I am fantastic. How are you?
I am well.
Just well, huh?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah,
Okay.
another day, another dollar.
That's what they say.
Maybe two.
That's what they say. Although I have something to tell you, that actually leads me right into our first sponsor for the show today.
Ooh.
Sustained Growth Solutions is sponsoring our show today. If you are a business owner, we understand that getting leads is the primary way you're going to grow your business, right? So if you're looking for leads, it's hard to find a lot of times because who has the time to go build a website, to go on social media and put in the work to get good quality leads to help grow your business? That's where Sustained Growth Solutions comes in. They have a fix for your problem. They have a system for generating leads that are 100% exclusive for you and your business, built tailor-made for you. No longer do you have to go search for good quality leads. They're going to provide them for you. Go to info at Sustained Growth Solutions today to get your leads.
And this episode of the Homeowner Show is also brought to you by TermaSave. TermaSave is the only termite warranty company out there currently. And what they realize is, look, termites they're punks. Like, they want to eat your house, they want to eat the wood in your house, and it causes lots of damage, over $1 billion worth of damage every year here in the United States. And so, one, it's expensive to repair, it's expensive to treat, and TermaSave realizes that this is a problem that needs to be solved. So if you are just anxious with the thought of your house being eaten by termites, that, like, if something were to happen like that, I don't know, that we could afford to treat it. Purchase a warranty through TermaSave. It's $35 a month. Go to the website, termasave.com, to get your appointment set up today to get your home protected. This is your biggest asset for most people in your portfolio. Protect it well.
That's right. That's why we do what we do, to help people protect their home.
Absolutely.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
What's been going on this week?
Oh, dude, we had a crazy. So we, if you've been listening to the show, we've got the cabin project going on down the road.
Yeah.
And it is gutted.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Completely gutted.
All the way down to the studs. We stopped on layer 3 of the vinyl flooring.
Oh.
Not vinyl.
Like
linoleum.
Linoleum.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at some point, it was sort of like an emerald green.
Oh.
Interesting. And then they put like orange shag carpet on top of that at some point.
Nice.
So yeah, it was fun. Our mutual friend Chris and his daughter came down and they did the lion's share of the work there.
Nice.
I came and drug a few things to the dumpster.
That's about right.
And that was really my main that was my participation trophy, was just
good
lugging carpet to the dumpster.
You know what? I'll tell you what. Carpet is not lightweight.
Mm-mm.
That stuff's heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And especially because after you've already torn out the drywall, all that kind of stuff, there's dust and sand and dirt
gets nasty
everywhere.
real quick.
I hate dragging out carpet.
Yeah.
But someone's got to do it.
Someone has to do it.
Craig will do the dirty work. I've seen the stuff that you drag out of attics.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gross.
Dude, we found a massive rat skull today.
Really?
Yes. I'll have to post up a picture of it later on.
Please do.
But anyway, completely gutted, down to the studs. Because it's not going to be the same cabin. I mean, the rooms aren't even going to be in the same place. I mean, we're just completely redoing everything, and so we just had to take it all the way down to the studs.
Nice.
No insulation left.
Okay.
I mean, like, everything's gone.
Right.
There's some framing on the inside.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, there's nothing in there.
Wow.
So we had a company called Redbox come out and leave a dumpster that was, I don't even know how big it was. I mean, it was like, it's like the length of a trailer on an 18-wheeler.
Wow.
And we filled it.
Okay.
So, but we didn't fill it. There's always like these little indicators at the top, like don't fill beyond this line.
Right.
And so we had a little bit of gap, and so I had some stuff at the house that I was like, I need to get rid of. One of it was, when I redid the garage here,
Right. Yeah.
I had a workbench that I was just like, I don't want this workbench anymore. So I finally had a place to take it.
Perfect.
So I threw it in there. My children had destroyed this organ that someone had given me years ago.
Oh man, that was I saw that thing and it just like broke my heart.
Yeah. So it was a tube organ. So
It was awesome.
It was so awesome, but like they destroyed it. So I say it was somebody destroyed it. I don't know which one of them it was, so I can't remove their inheritance.
Well, you probably know who it was.
I have strong suspicions.
It's one of two. We know that.
Yes. But anyway, so I was like, I'm tired of looking at it. I'm tired of being sad about it. So I just lugged it down there. But getting those things in the trailer, because I had to actually hoist them up over the top.
Oh, okay.
Which was a good 8 feet in the air.
Oh my goodness. Dude, and that organ was not light.
The organ was actually way easier than the workbench.
Really?
Because I did the workbench by myself.
Oh.
And that workbench was probably a 10-foot workbench.
Oh man.
So I had to get the leverage just right in order to even get it over the top.
Sure.
But yeah, the organ wasn't too bad. I mean, we basically did it out of the back of my pickup truck.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. But to watch them come, I had to meet the gal today so she could come pick it up and haul it off. Like, that is a cool rig.
Oh, really?
If you had never seen one.
Oh, is one of those deals that it rolls it up on the back and like that? Those are really cool.
And then they have like a netting that comes over it. Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah.
It took one person.
Yeah. Oh, I know. You would think there's no way. Like, how do you even move this thing? But the system that they've got for that is really super cool.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like, you can tell. I mean, like, obviously the equipment costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
But like, what a smart way to haul junk.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I imagine they have to have a deal with these landfills to.
Oh, they're probably doing some sort of a bulk deal, but they're still paying for it. That's part of what you're paying for whenever you pay for the dumpster to be there. I mean, you're paying for it to get disposed of, along with the convenience of having a dumpster right there. But what else are you gonna do? I mean, you're gonna make that many trips to the landfill yourself? Shoot, no.
No, it gets expensive too. I mean, like, the landfills aren't cheap.
Yeah.
People don't realize like how much it costs to actually. Yeah. So.
Huh. Interesting.
Anyway.
Cool. Well, I'm actually interested to go check it out. I've not looked at it yet, so I need to go.
Oh, you haven't been down there?
No, I mean, I was gonna come down last weekend, and then life happened. And I didn't. Or was it last weekend or 2 weekends ago now that
it was last weekend?
Okay. I had a lot going on. So anyway.
How convenient when all the work is being done.
Well, sure. I'm even more apt to skipping out on stuff than you are. So, but it's your family, so you were able to get away with it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be there.
Part of the time.
Yeah.
I got to make an appearance.
Yeah, of course. Definitely. So last week.
Yeah, we're gonna do in part 2.
We had part 1 of the things that we're not going to see any longer after 2021. It's going away.
Things that are on their way out.
Yeah, these are interior design things, and we disagreed with half of them probably.
Yeah.
So
that's fair.
This week,
and we were right.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, it's now been clearly a week.
Yeah.
And in that week, we have determined that we were right.
We were right.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got confirmation from some contractors that we're absolutely right.
We're absolutely right, which is not shocking to me.
Yeah.
No, not at all. But part 2, we're going to be talking about trends that are going to come around and stick in 2022 and possibly beyond.
Yeah, so these are design trends that are on the uptick, and the writer of this article is saying, like, look, these are the new styles that we're going to be seeing, and love it or hate it, this is this person's opinion, so we're going to dissect it, tell you what we think.
Yeah.
And so we want to hear from you guys what you think about some of these trends. Like, do you agree with our take on it? Do you agree with the writer, what their take is? So let's kick this thing off, Kev.
All right.
Because this is like the very first one is actually my favorite one on the list.
Really?
Because it's a term I had not heard before.
It's a good term.
Which is granny chic.
Granny chic, or Grand Millennial.
Grand Millennial. Yeah.
I like Granny Chic.
I like Granny Chic
better. Although I will tell you that the picture that they have here does not make me want to add this to my house.
No. Well, and I think the picture captures it pretty well.
It does.
And so I think the best way I could describe what they're talking about, well, I mean, really what it is patterned wallpaper.
Yes.
That you would find in some millennial's grandmother's house that hasn't been updated since 1972.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, your mom took a picture of some wallpaper
in the cabin.
In the cabin down there.
It was very granny chic.
It was very granny chic, but one of the things I loved is one of our friends, Shannon, she said you need to cut a piece of that and frame it and put on. I thought that was a brilliant idea.
It's a great idea. Yeah.
Really brilliant idea.
I don't know if she did it, but I hope she did.
Yeah, I did too, because it's a really good idea.
So here's what I think about this one.
Okay.
I don't think I think it is. Do I think it's rising in popularity? Yes. I don't think it's going to have legs because I don't think that this is people actually liking this. I think they're ironically nodding it, going like, "Isn't this funny that I did this in my house?"
Right.
You know, and because like, you know, you and me, like we probably want things in our house that we genuinely enjoy.
Yes.
I think, you know, generation below us, maybe even the generation after that, you know, you're going to have people that the things that they enjoy in their home aren't necessarily the things that they like, but the things that they find funny.
Sure.
Or ironic.
Yeah.
And I think this plays into that big time.
I don't know, but I mean, I'm trying to think about your house. We don't have knickknacks at our house. We don't have shadow boxes at our house.
Yeah.
My parents do.
Yeah.
Their parents do. Like, that's a thing, right? And so there's things that they find, like you said, things that they find funny or interesting or just nostalgic. That's important to them.
Sure.
And so I could definitely see this being at least a little spot. Like the picture that we see here almost looks like it's a little bit of an entryway. And there's just like this one like 4-foot section all the way up the wall that's that wallpaper. Now, maybe it is larger than that. It's hard to tell from the picture, but I could see, like you said, this just being that little bitty nod to, we're going to put this up in our house. It's going to be kind of that iconic piece that people walk in and they're like, that's something that's old, you know?
Yeah. Or like isn't it great how ugly this is?
Right.
You know, it's sort of like when some people show you like a picture of like a really ugly puppy and you think it's cute anyway.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing.
Yeah. It's like, you know, it's like Elaine with the ugly babies.
Yes. That's one ugly baby.
That's one ugly baby. It's breathtaking.
So, the next one actually, so number 2, so number 1 was the, you know, granny chic.
Right.
So
number 2 actually plays into that a little bit, but from a different angle.
Yeah. So it's peel and stick wallpaper is the next one.
Yeah.
And so that's broad. You know, and so it's not necessarily granny chic peel and stick wallpaper, although I think it's going to be in there, and I think that's going to be part of it.
Yeah, so we would definitely have Mel's support on this. If you've heard us talk about our interior design friend Mel, she definitely is a huge fan of wallpaper. What I find ironic about this one is the fact that one of the trends that was going to be leaving in 2021 is an accent wall.
Right.
Which is kind of what wallpaper is.
Yes.
For what they're saying this is going to be, is it will be trendy to have an accent wall of some sort of decorative wallpaper. So I find it a little ironic that we're not going to have accent walls that are painted, but we're going to have accent walls that are peel and stick wallpaper.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Well, and I part of what I think makes it work is the peel and stick is, you know, I don't know how well it sticks long term.
I don't either.
But it's, I mean, like, you know, I can't imagine it being, especially if it's for an accent wall, it being that expensive. I could be wrong. But, you know, if you're tired of your last ironic wallpaper, just throw up another one.
Yeah,
Peel and stick.
It's true.
Yeah.
It happens. And I don't know. I mean, I have an aversion to wallpaper in general.
Me too.
Mainly because I've had to remove it one too many times. And removing wallpaper is from the devil.
Yeah.
Straight from the devil.
Yeah, it's no good.
No good at all. So the next one we're going to talk about here actually also goes with accents, right?
Okay.
Because the next one here is rustic ceramics are going to edge out smooth tiling in the kitchen. So basically what we're talking about here is in certain areas of your kitchen, and specifically the picture that we're seeing here is of the cooking station. So the stove, the vent hood, behind it is a very decorative type of tile rather than like a Subway type of tile or something. Something that's going to be this rustic ceramic that they're talking about. It's not going to be a uniform design. It's going to have a lot of curvatures to the design in the tile, a lot of color in the tile. Definitely an accent piece. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, here's the thing. I mean, like the way that they're talking about it in this article, I don't know that this hasn't already been a trend.
Well, I was kind of wondering that myself because backsplashes are a huge part of kitchen remodels these days.
Yes.
Right? I mean, old school backsplash was literally the Formica continuing up the wall, right?
Yes, right.
That was an old school backsplash.
Had some curvature to it.
It did. Yeah. And so now people are, going with that Subway look, which is a very trendy but
You're talking about like Subway tile?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very trendy but classic look, right? They're basically saying, because some people are putting in something more decorative for the backsplashes. This is more of the whole backsplash isn't going to necessarily be this. This is going to be in one location that kind of is an accent piece. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is going to be the whole thing. But
Well, and I think it really has a lot to do with the aesthetic that you're going for in the kitchen.
Sure.
Because if you're going for like a really modern kitchen, these rustic ceramics are going to be really out of place.
Well, and they're expensive.
They are expensive.
I mean, to do this in your entire kitchen would be very expensive.
Well, any kind of tile that is outside of the normal square or like just a normal piece of tile, anything that has any sort of design on it or has any sort of texture to it, or even like the like they have ones that are like weird shapes that are, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. A lot of times you use them for like bathrooms and in showers and stuff where they've got mesh on the back of them.
Yes.
Basically. You grout over the entire thing and it makes a decorative look, right?
But there's some that are very geometric.
Yeah.
For more modern styles.
Yeah.
And so like those are not the rustic ceramics
No.
that what these guys are talking about. And I again, like I think if you're doing like sort of like a country style kitchen or even like a farmhouse, kind of kitchen or something like that, something like this would work. But if you're doing like a really modern, like clean lines and then geometric shapes, it's just going to be better suited for whatever the design is that's happening in that kitchen. So again, I think this is, I don't disagree with it, but I think it just depends on what kind of kitchen.
Yeah, it's a style. I mean, it makes me wonder, are they feeling like the style of home that people are going to start remodeling towards is just a much more laid back, whimsical, much less formal, much less modern. Like the modern look is almost kind of going away. I mean, because if we're talking about wallpaper, we're talking about rustic ceramics, we're talking about this kind of stuff, like that's not modern at all.
Yeah.
Right? So I think maybe, and I don't know, we got more to talk about here, but the next one's I think is going to lean us toward the very thing that I was just saying, because the next one's green cabinets.
Yeah.
Right? So your kitchen going toward a green cabinet. So one of the things that I talked about, I mentioned last episode that my wife had said, I want that in my house, that I wasn't going to give away. It was this one.
She wants green cabinets?
She wants green cabinets.
So I mean, like, is she wanting? But like, she wants probably like a specific kind of green. I mean, like, when we say green, you might think like leaf green, or like lawn green, or like that bright green, or maybe even like a. Anyway, I would imagine she's thinking like a more muted green.
Yes,
like a gray green.
Sea foam almost. Okay. Like a. It's more of a gray green. It really is just kind of a pastel type of green. It's definitely green, but it is not like in your face because green's a dark color.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you go with like Kelly green, but it's still got a lot of dark to it. It's going to soak up a lot of light. So finding a mixture there between getting a green cabinet that doesn't soak up all the light, but that also isn't that bright white that people went to for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, there's some sort of a balance there.
Yeah. I'm not personally drawn to it. So like I would like to think that what I like is going to be more trendy. But that's rarely the case. So it's it could be. I don't really keep up with like cabinet culture all that much. But I will say like I can't imagine like I can only imagine this being a trend for people who are doing custom cabinets and remodeling existing kitchens. Because I don't see home builders putting in this as a standard.
No, I do think that this is a preference. I don't even see this being one of the options that a builder offers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are some custom upper end.
No, but I mean, because a lot of these, if you're going into a
pre-production cabinets.
Pre-production, you're getting 2 or 3 options. Green isn't one of the options.
No.
I mean,
we could be wrong. I mean, like if you guys are working with a builder right now and that's one of the options, please let us know.
Yeah, but we have some friends just recently that bought a house and he did cabinetry, like that was a part of his business, and he basically asked the home builder, look, could you just not put the cabinets in and I'm going to come in and build my own cabinets? And they said, no, we can't do that. Like that's not, part of the issue is they have their guys that work on the houses and they do it at such speed that they can't be like,
they can't wait on you.
That one house, by the way, don't put the cabinets in there, right? You've already paid for them. They're going in. You can bust them out if you want to, but they're going in no matter what. So they just went with the cheapest cabinet they could find and
then tore them out later.
You know, kind of interesting.
Why not just anyway?
I know.
Oh,
it's weird.
Yep. All right.
Green
so
cabinets.
This next one is actually one that I'm actually kind of excited about. So industrial styling may be the next big trend. I really like this style.
I do too. Here's the thing. This is a very manly style. The industrial look that's a lot of like metals and dark colors and wicker, leather, that kind of, it's a very manly type of look, I think.
Yeah. Well,
So,
I don't know that I'd throw wicker in there. Wicker I think is a different aesthetic, but like.
Well, I'm thinking like little accent pieces of like baskets and things like that. That's what I'm thinking. Like,
yeah.
Stuff to like. If you were to, not a lot of people have newspapers anymore, not a lot of people have even magazines anymore, but if you were going to put like books somewhere, in fact, the picture that we have here has, I think it's wooden on the wall, but.
Yeah, those are crates.
Yeah, they're crates. So that's kind of the aesthetic I was thinking of.
Yeah, and I part of the reason I think this is going to be big is you guys have heard me talk about this before. I really think there's going to be a surge in availability of commercial property. And I think they're going to have to figure out, I think one of the things that people are going to figure out how to do really, really quick is how to convert those into affordable residential homes. And, this is how you make industrial spaces livable is, you kind of have to go with what you have. And so if it's an industrial space, you kind of decorate with that. And so, it makes sense to just just own it.
Yeah. There's a lot of businesses that kind of went to this industrial look whenever they stopped finishing out ceilings. You had all the exposed ductwork and lighting and things like that. They just painted the ceiling black.
Yep.
And that honestly is a huge trend that was happening in the industrial space. And so what this is saying is it's going to make its way into the residential space.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I think it has. I mean, you start looking at
Like loft areas,
like Restoration Hardware.
yeah,
Kind of.
yeah.
Really what they're saying. I mean, because Restoration Hardware. I mean, if you've never been to one, is kind of like a really fancy furniture store, decoration store for homes. But those kinds of things have really only been available to, the top 1 to 10%,
Right.
as like ways that you could decorate your whole home. I think what this person is trying to say is like those trends are going to start, trickling down even to things like IKEA and, Ashley Furniture and what's the
Rooms to go.
Rooms to go. That's the one I was thinking of. Where you can just, put it on the Rooms to Go card and
There you go. There you go. It happens all the time. All right, the next one is plaster walls may make a comeback. How do you feel about this?
I mean, like, I don't know that they're wrong.
Have you ever been guilty of doing a mud plaster wall?
I don't know the difference between plaster and mud.
Well, it's okay. So plaster is going to be a different material, but like
That's what I thought.
Have you ever like mudded a wall and just painted over it, like with the large like swirling like?
I mean, because that's kind of what I did in this room.
Yeah, it actually is. You have been guilty. It is behind me right here. And I'm going to tell you, I've done it twice. That I can remember on two different projects. I love the look.
Yeah.
Personally, you did on 2 different walls here. Now that I'm looking at it, why did I not think of that as I was asking you that question?
Well, that's why I was asking, because I was like, I think that's what I did in here.
No, it's 100% what you did on 3 of the 4 walls in here.
And so here's the thing. Again, I think this is playing into the idea that we are becoming more and more a DIY culture.
Oh yeah.
Because in order to mud a smooth sheetrocked wall,
bless you.
Woo, it takes a lot of skill.
The people that do floating and taping of sheetrock, they're masters.
Yes.
I don't even know how they do it. Like, how do you take a seam, put a piece of tape over it? It's not really tape. It's
paper.
Paper. You put paper over it, put a layer on top of it, and it comes out smooth?
Yeah.
How is that even possible? You put 2 more layers on top of something, and then it comes out completely smooth. Those guys are masters at that. So there's a way around it.
There is, but like this takes next to no skill.
No, and
we know that because I did it.
Yeah, exactly. No, but it's a fun look.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks good to me.
Yeah. In this article though, it says that traditional plaster is actually done over wood. So you mud wood.
Interesting.
So I don't know that would actually go over well here, and I don't know why you would do that here. I mean, like if you already have wood on the wall, again going back to the shiplap.
Yes.
Like why would you cover up? Unless it's like some cheap, crappy plywood or something like that. But it says that's something. It's usually like, something that might actually look good if it was painted and finished. And
yep.
So, if they're talking about the traditional way of covering up wood, I doubt it.
Yeah.
And they could be like doubling down on their prediction that shiplap and these other things are going away, which you and I didn't agree with.
Right.
So but if we're talking about DIY culture, then yeah, I think absolutely, because it's an easy way. Again, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Well, and it's inexpensive.
It's very inexpensive.
I mean, if you go with, plaster is probably a little bit different, but mud specifically, to go buy a box of mud, it's so cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, you can buy a box of mud for $15 and it goes a long way.
Well, and I still remember, I think it was like the mid 90s when textured mud was kind of a thing. Like you were doing like faux textures.
Yes.
With mud.
Yeah, because you were and you were buying those paint rollers that had it was a piece of foam.
Yeah.
They had like chunks taken out of it.
Uh-huh.
So you were super texturing stuff like that. Yeah. Definitely was happening.
So I could see something like that coming back again.
Yeah. I mean, I actually liked the look of the way some of that looked, but part of the other reason that you do that kind of thing is it hides imperfections.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, personally, if I'm not going to have this type of look, I like smooth walls. I don't prefer the textured walls. But if you don't have a really, really good guy doing the floating and taping of your walls, you better put a texture on them because it covers up the imperfection.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So.
Yeah. All right. So this next one is interesting. So they predict that wicker and rattan furniture will likely be trending.
Yeah, so I'm not wrong. I said wicker just a minute ago.
Well, yeah, but you said wicker about industrial style.
No, but this honestly is hideous.
I couldn't agree more. I hate wicker.
I do too, man. I hate wicker on the patio.
Uh-huh.
Why would I want to bring it inside?
Yeah.
I mean,
no.
I mean, just so people know, the picture we're looking at here is a picture of a bedroom suite with a bed and a side table that are made out of wicker.
Not only that, a lamp.
And a lamp. And
I think the lamp is rattan, but, same, whatever.
It's hideous. I wouldn't even put this in a beach house, y'all. Like, this is hideous. Don't do this.
I wouldn't make my cousin, who I don't like, sleep in that room.
Oh, I would. But that's just because I don't like him. Well, unless I had to purchase it. This is hideous.
Yeah, like why?
And it's got live plants in there on top of it. This is weird.
I don't mind the cacti, but
I don't know.
It's got some cactus in the room, which I like. But
again, one of the ironic things about this, it's got the white bedding on it.
This is right.
So the trend of the white's going away.
Yeah,
well, it's got some gray on it, but the trend of the white's going away. But unless it's wicker, then you got to put the white back on it.
Here's Mike. I've never known a piece of wicker to stay raveled.
That's true. I mean, it's awful. It's horrible. Why do they still make that stuff? It must just be super cheap to make.
I guess.
I don't know. I hate it. If you like the wicker stuff, you just
good on you.
Are different than us.
Yeah,
that's all. All right. The next one you want to.
So this one says that natural fabrics may gain popularity over synthetics.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, like maybe if you're trying, if the culture goes where like we need to be able to show everyone that we have natural because we're being more environmentally friendly because it's chemicals and things like that in order to produce these synthetics.
Sure.
Maybe. If that really becomes super important, or if that's super important to you, and I'm not saying that it's not, I'm just saying like that's not typically something that I brag about when people walk into my home. So like you're not getting any like social credit with me by like, hey, look at my wool blanket, or like look at my cotton, whatever.
Right.
I don't care.
No, that's not a conversation piece.
No.
Here's what I think. Again, going back to what I said earlier, I think they're saying we're going toward a much more laid back, soft and comfortable type of style instead of a more modern, straight lined type of style. The cottons and the linens that are more natural that they're talking about here.
Yeah.
They play into that aesthetic better, and so I think they fit. Now, maybe there's the organic side of things, and help, environmentally friendly, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. Here's the big problem that I've got with this. Those synthetic fabrics are literally, no pun intended, woven into the very nature of what we wear these days. You can't hardly buy a polo shirt that does not have some sort of moisture wicking capability to it. And a lot of clothing is going that way. And here's the thing. I'm finding that even in things like bed sheets and stuff like that, they're making stuff out of this material that naturally wicks things away from your body.
Sure.
And so I don't know. I find this to be, if that's the case, then the trend of some of this polyester, the rayon, that kind of stuff, I'm sure it's got to go away from clothing as well too. Somewhere down the line, if that's the case.
That's what I was going to say. I think this is talking more about like bedding and like throw blankets and things like that. I don't think that what you're talking about with clothing is going to change. It's too cheap. It's too affordable. It's different technology, even like what you're talking about with some of the wicking.
It is.
Here's what I'll say about the synthetics on like the throw blankets and the sheets and the linens and for like the bedding and all that kind of stuff. I'm sorry. They are softer.
They are.
They feel softer than traditional fabrics and organics and naturals. So, I mean, like, and they're less expensive.
Yeah.
So if they feel better and they don't cost as much, I can't see, you might have, what's the word I'm looking for? Like trend setters, or influencers. That's the word I was looking. Influencers trying to push these things on people.
Yeah.
Because I would imagine, again, the naturals are more expensive.
Oh,
so
they are.
They're going to have a healthier profit margin on them.
Yeah.
And so companies that make them are going to be, trying to get them out in the public, and good on them. But like at the end of the day, if they're not as comfortable,
it's not going to happen.
It's just not. And if those naturals are more expensive and less comfortable, like why would people go back to them? Except for any of the reasons that I just mentioned before when we were introing this, is just to say like, look at me, I'm a good person.
Yeah.
For doing this. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to do those kinds of things. I just can't imagine
that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so here's maybe more, I think you're right, and I think maybe more to my point originally. So one of the biggest things currently in fabrics that you sleep on specifically, so bedding, is cooling technology. You're not getting that out of a piece of cotton.
Nope.
Right?
Yeah.
So if we are going to a different level of technology that literally heats and cools differently, like we have we've talked about this before on the show. My wife and I have a Sleep Number bed, and if you buy a certain level of Sleep Number sheets, and they have some other things built into their mattresses and stuff like that, they have a temperature regulating fabric.
Right.
So if you sleep hot, it supposedly will cool your body down. If you sleep cold, it'll supposedly warm your body up a little bit. So you're not getting that out of these natural fabrics. And so I think that there's a technology that's coming in that's already been here for a little while that pushes some of this other stuff out. Now, I grew up in West Texas. In West Texas, everything's cotton. Cotton farmers as far as your eye can see. So I know they're not loving the
synthetics.
The synthetic stuff.
Well, but they do make some synthetic cotton blends.
They absolutely do. But I think this is a tough sell. I just do. I think that if you're looking for something that is more high end, maybe, but I just don't see it being something that is a trendsetter.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion.
When you were talking about the bed cooling.
Yeah.
So one of the podcasts I listen to is the Tim Ferriss Show. I don't know if you ever listened to that one.
Yeah.
Really, really good podcast. But he was doing an ad. It was in an episode I was listening to today, and I just looked it up. It's the 8 Sleeps Pod Pro cover.
Okay.
And so it's a dual temperature control for your bed.
Nice.
So and the way he described it is like he's a hot sleeper, so he likes it to be cool. But that his girlfriend's a cold sleeper, and so she doesn't need the temperature. She can have, and so you can have separate temperature control on the coolness of the bed. Cool. In dual zone.
Yeah. So I've seen that in like heating blankets to where you can have dual zones. So is this a top cover, or is it like a mattress cover, or is it the mattress itself?
I think it's a top cover.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it goes underneath your sheets.
Okay.
So I would imagine it's like some sort of gel foam that you, as a top cover that, didn't have a controller for.
Yeah, so my sister, they have basically it's a heating, so instead of having a heated blanket, they have a heated mattress pad cover.
Right. Yeah.
And so we all know, at least you should, that you heat yourself better from below than you do from the top. And so that's the way they do it. So if that's what you're talking about, like, that sounds brilliant. And it's not shocking to me. But again, you're not going to be able to buy that with 100% cotton. That's not the way that works.
Yeah, no. No.
So to me, it's just a technology that I think I just think that it lends itself to getting away from exactly what they're saying is going to be the trendsetter.
Yeah.
So.
All right, man. So, I mean, that's the end of their list. Are there any trends that you see on the horizon that you think might catch people off guard?
No, everything for me, whenever it comes to this kind of stuff.
Holy Lord, I just looked up this thing.
Oh,
it's like $1,700.
Well, that's why it's not going to catch on. Very few people are going to be able to afford that.
They have a payment plan. You can get it for as
do.
little as $73 a month.
Oh, for 23 years. Worth every penny. So all the things that I really think are going to be the stuff that catches on is stuff that you and I talk about a lot, which is technology.
Yeah.
I just see more and more people going to things like smart thermostats and smart locks and smart lighting and even, like LED type of stuff in their home. I mean, dude, so I went to a minor league baseball game this summer.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a fairly new stadium. All of their lights in there are LED. And so, like, when a home run was hit, the lights in the stands that lit the whole stadium, they flashed on and off.
Huh.
Like, can't do that with most stadiums,
right?
Because they're all like these halogens that take a long time to warm up. I mean, like literally 20 to 30 minutes to fully warm up, right?
Yeah.
And so having the ability to just customize your home a little bit and set moods for different places that you're at in your home, I just feel like those are the types of things that are really appealing to people. It makes your home more versatile. And so I see, again, just a wave of technology that comes into people's homes. It's getting a lot less expensive, too. The more they put stuff out, the cheaper it becomes. So I don't know. That's my big deal. I don't know. What about you?
I'll make a bold prediction.
Okay.
I don't know that it's going to happen next year.
All right.
I think it's one that's coming within the next 5 years.
Okay.
Tiny kitchens.
Tiny kitchens.
I think tiny kitchens are going to be. So one of the things that COVID really changed was the way people engage with food.
Okay. Yeah.
Because restaurants had to create more robust takeout systems.
Yep.
You have Uber Eats. You have all these different platforms on which you can have like restaurant food delivered to your home. And then other restaurant chains have been adding delivery services. And I think people, I think people are becoming less and less interested in actually cooking. Or one of the things I think about some of the next generations is they are more practical in some ways. And so like I think people from like our generation on up, like a big robust kitchen has just always been kind of like the gathering spot of the family.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that's the case anymore. It's all becoming more about the like the entertainment center, the seating area, and people are going to figure out that they can have a lot more house with a much smaller kitchen. Maybe like an extra bedroom, maybe a larger living room. And so like you could, and you think about like the tiny home trend that went through over the last 4 years.
Yep.
Those had, very stripped down.
Yep. Little 2-burner
minimalist
stove.
Kitchens.
Yep.
And I just don't see a lot of new homeowners thinking that they need the gourmet kitchen anymore.
Yeah.
They're not worried about having Thanksgiving dinner, having all these plates and platters and having the space to make all those kinds of. And even now, I mean, like most people I know don't actually use their kitchen like I use my kitchen.
Right.
Like I cook in my kitchen twice a day.
Sure.
I'm making food for my family, but like a lot of people I know, like it's holidays when the kitchen gets used.
And that's not me.
It's not me either, but I recognize that it's the way things are going.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think that more and more people are eating out more. They're finding, like, I was talking to a friend just the other day. So there's a restaurant out by our house called Fajita Jack's.
Mm-hmm.
You've been there before.
Yep.
Not your favorite place. We like it. But
it's a great location.
It's a great location, all that kind of stuff. We like it's very Tex-Mex. It's more Tex-Mex than some places around here. But we like a few of the dishes, and they've got some good prices on some things. And anyway, we like it. We've eaten there probably a couple dozen times,
mm-hmm.
which is a fair amount of times.
Sure.
Not one time have we eaten in the restaurant. Every single time we have taken the food to go.
Uh-huh.
Now, we live a half mile from this place, so it's very, very close. And a lot of times what we're doing is we're putting our kids down to bed, and then we're ordering food and having a little mini date night, right?
Okay, yeah.
So we do that a lot. But I think you're right. I think there's a lot of people that are finding, look, I don't even have to walk in.
Yeah.
They bring it out to the curb.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I call them, they bring it out to my curb, or I just have them delivered to my house. I can have McDonald's delivered to my house if I want to. I don't know why you want to, but you could.
Yeah.
Right?
You do you, people.
You do you. I mean, if you want Kentucky Fried Chicken delivered to your house, that's fine. Someone with very poor health will deliver that to you if you want them to, because they can do that.
Yep.
They can use their livelihood. Not that people that do Uber are poor health. I'm just saying it could be anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody can do any job on Uber, on DoorDash, or whatever. All they got to do is walk in, pick it up, bring it to your house. They have a job, and you get the food that you want.
Yeah.
Everybody's happy.
And it's not. Right? It's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, like I spend a fair amount of time preparing meals.
Sure.
Now I do that with my family. Sometimes I just do it by myself. But
it's enjoyable for you though.
It is enjoyable for me. But like for some people it's not. And so like they get to not spend that time doing the thing that they don't like and spend time with their family or on their hobby or with their dog or whatever it is they want to do.
Right.
So I get it, but like I also think that's inevitably going to work its way into the design of the home.
That's interesting. I would not have come to that conclusion, mainly because it's definitely not me. But I see your point. For sure. Sure.
We'll see.
Yeah, who knows?
So, anything else?
And I think that's it. Thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of the Homeowner Show. If you've not already, go ahead and click the subscribe button, ring the bell, do whatever you got to do so that you can get our content each and every week. We're happy to be here. And we're not going anywhere, but we've been here for over 3 years at this point, y'all. We're not going anywhere. Thanks for downloading the episode. Tell your friends about us. Until next time, we'll see you later.
See ya.